Podcast Playground.
Hooray!
This is the Deron Harris Podcast. Here's your host, Deron Harris.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the program. I'm your host, Deron Harris, and this is my podcast. Yo, check this out. The other day, I was hanging out with some friends, some white friends and some black friends, and this question came up. And for a minute, my white friends were kind of uncomfortable about it, but we had a really good conversation about it. And the question was, which was asked by another black person, the question was, if white people hate black people so much, how come they won't leave black people alone? Why do they try as hard as they can to ruin life for black people? Why do they steal our culture? And why are they upset every time we celebrate? And that's a serious question. And that is what I'm talking about today. But first, I want to do a quick fast, like I do every week. I want to do a quick fast mental health check for everybody out there listening. Hopefully, everybody's out there going out to get help. You're not out here suffering. You're not out here struggling. You're not out here trying to do it by yourself, because I tried to do it by myself and it really was not, it wasn't a good idea. So thank goodness I went and actually decided to go out and seek help. I went out and got professional help, and I will be the first one to say that therapy saved my life. And anybody within the sound of my voice, if you are suffering, if you are out there, you feel like you are at your wit's end, that the world is closing in around you, just know that there are plenty of people out there, including myself, that are willing to help you, that are willing to sit there and talk you down off the ledge before, something bad happens. So don't do yourself the favor. Do not deprive yourself of this help. It is absolutely 100% out there. It is accessible, and it is available to you. So don't put it off. And like I said, if you need somebody to talk to, if you can't find nobody, DM my producers, man. We'll sit around and we'll figure out how to get you some help. So, all right. Back to the question. The question was, if white people hate black people so much, how come they won't leave black people alone? Why do they try as hard as they can to ruin life for black people? Why do they steal our culture? And why do they get upset when we celebrate? That's a legitimate question. And the reason why this came about is because I guess last week on social media, there was a group of black ladies, a group of fucking smart, well-to-do black ladies that graduated college. They graduated. They graduated. They put in, the fucking time and effort, 4-8 years, whatever it was. They finished. They graduated. And they decided that they were going to dance it out. And people got mad. People genuinely got mad. But let me rephrase that. Everybody didn't get mad, because black people wasn't mad about that. We was actually happy about that. White folks got mad about it. That's who got mad about it. White folks got mad about it. And the very first thing, right off the bat, you go to the comments and it is just so much hate and so much vitriol and so much derogatory expression, and so many people out there with a hateful guise, just so many people out there who sit back from the comfort of the internet and say the most atrocious, horrendous, hateful things about some people who are celebrating their accomplishments. And they think that I don't know why they still think that we are bothered by name calling. Because at the end of the day, y'all, the only fucking thing they have is name calling. They're not going to come over here and put their hands on you, not unless it's 10 of them and 1 of you. But they're not going to one-on-one you. They're not going to walk up to you and go, spew out some bullshit. And the reason why is because then they have to deal with the consequences of that. And a lot of times, it just is what it is. When you say stupid shit to black folks, we bust your fucking face open. We confront you. We stand the fuck up in it. We challenge you. We walk right up to the fire and fan the fucking flames just to see if you're serious. And a lot of them are. They're serious on the internet, but they're not serious when it comes to the real world. They want to be super racist as they can be until it's inconvenient for them to be. I watched another video, and shout out to the young man, the hotel clerk who handled this. This lady came in the hotel. She had some family staying there. She called this man a nigger. The hotel clerk called him a nigger on the phone. She came in, and the hotel clerk told her, "No, I'm sorry. There's a Best Western. I'm sorry, it's out of my hands. Please, you called me a nigger. I'm sorry." It's always I'm sorry, but you're not sorry when you're being hateful. You're not sorry for the hateful shit that you say. You're sorry because you don't get to stay in the same hotel as your daughter. That's why you're sorry. You're not sorry that you call this person a nigger because, let's face it, that's who you are. That's exactly who you are. When you get frustrated and you get down around some black folks and you get all mad, the first thing you want to do is reach out and grab that word and fling it out there. But FYI, y'all, we don't give a fuck. We just don't. We don't care anymore. So, again, if white people hate black people so much, then how come they won't just leave us alone? Now, this is a really good question, and I mean, it is hugely frustrating to a lot of people, and it delves into the very real historic and contemporary experiences that many black people have faced in this country, including myself. And these are all valid feelings. And the questions themselves, they reflect like patterns that have been documented and analyzed in depth across sociology, across history, across cultural studies. So that's what I want to try to get into today and find out why. If white people hate black people so much, how come they just won't leave us alone? Now, excuse me. Wow, excuse me some more. Now, this history, I mean, it definitely speaks to the question. I mean, it speaks to the history of systemic oppression and control. Now, the issue itself isn't simply about individual hate. Now, let's put that, even though sometimes that is a part of it. It isn't about, just about individual hate. What it ultimately is about is power. Okay, maintaining control over a group that is perceived as a threat to that power, which is black folks, us. Throughout the U.S., in our history, from slavery to Jim Crow to mass incarceration to, everything that they've put in place against us, black people have often been targeted, not because white people want their distance, not because they want to push us away, but because white people and white institutions, they want to exploit us, they want to surveil us, keep their eye on us, they want to control us, and they ultimately want to suppress and stunt our growth here in this country. And that's what it's for. So why not leave black people alone? It's not that simple. Because because leaving black communities by themselves to thrive and build themselves would definitely tear down the myth of white superiority, and it would challenge the entrenched economic and political systems. One thing they don't want is our autonomy, because autonomy for black Americans, seen in Black Wall Street or the civil rights movements or modern day entrepreneurship amongst black men and women, we often get met with that, that resistance. That there was a lady, I guess she was in Philadelphia, she opened a little bakery, and it got a little bit of traction. People was coming, but her neighbors, the cowards that they are, and that's my thing. People say the wildest shit instead of coming up to people and saying, "Listen, I don't like it. I don't want you here." Because I can respect that. I can respect that. You know what I'm saying? I could downright respect that. But a lot of them, they sit back in the winds. They don't like it. They go home and they fucking bitch about it. And then what do? Their brains start turning on how can we stop this? How can we get this out of our neighborhoods? That's what happens. But this girl, I got hats off to her. She fought back. She's still there. She fought back. And as a matter of fact, not only did she fight back, she put it on social media platform, and a bunch of creators went there and helped her out. And I can't help but think that, I know in this particular neighborhood, if it had been a little white woman who had opened a little bakery, it would have been all fun and games and, coffee and muffins in front of the store on Sundays. And that's what it would have been. But instead, just because this lady is black and she opened up in a neighborhood that isn't majority black, she is met with a lot of this resistance. And it's just getting old, y'all. It's getting old. I mean, anything we do is met with resistance. Anything we do is met with resistance to try and put us back in our place. And really, what it is a plan. It is a plan to outright sabotage our success. That's exactly what it is. It's a plan. And it's been carefully crafted. And now, just like the destruction of the black community, it's on autopilot. They don't have to do anything else because it's been set out there. The creators of the propaganda who fuel this ideology across our country, their job is done because it's out there. People are willy-nilly and loud and proud about their individual and personal racism. They don't like black people. And the reason why is because all of the propaganda for years and years and years that has been shoved in their face about black people. I mean, starting with Cops. Remember that show Cops? 99% of the people on that show are black people being incarcerated. And that's what you see every fucking, Friday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night on fucking Fox. It's Cops. Busting black people in their fucking neighborhood. Some people, I got a dime bag. You got 10 cops chasing motherfuckers down for a dime bag. But meanwhile, you got Wall Street executives, got mountains of fucking cocaine. And they get the pass. It's ridiculous. So I'm going to take a quick, fast break. And when I come back, we're going to get into the next question, which is, why do they try as hard as they can to ruin life for black people? All right? I'll be right back. This is Deron Harris Podcast.
The podcast playground. Hooray!
Now, back to the Deron Harris Podcast.
Hey, y'all, what's good? Welcome back to the show. Today I'm talking about white folks not really leaving black folks alone. Even though they say they don't like us. They don't want us around. They don't want nothing to do with us. A lot of them. Not everybody. It's not everybody. It's a good increasing majority. You got these dudes marching around Patriot Front, and they're all getting, ready for some sort of, fucking combat, scenario. And I just want you guys to be clear. Who the fuck do you think they're preparing for? They're not preparing for other white folks. They're training to fight us. All right? I don't care what, there's going to be a bunch of motherfuckers. That's fucking bullshit. I even got a friend that probably will say the same thing. But he's a white person and doesn't feel those what do you want to call them? Those that sentiment. He doesn't feel that sentiment. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't feel that burning hatred. He didn't walk into a room and get, stared down. Me and my wife went into TJ Maxx here a couple weeks ago. And I walk with a cane. I got a bad back. My hip is bad. I walk with a cane. And my wife is 4'10". And we went to TJ Maxx just to kind of browse and look around at some things. We were killing some time while we waited for a pizza to be done next door. And almost instantly. And you could tell because, I've been in the retail business. I know who secret shoppers are. I know what, your security. I know who the fucking manager is. I can tell who the manager is, in any business situation, any business. I can walk into any restaurant and tell you what every single staff member does. I can walk into any retail place and tell you who does what. So the security guard and his fucking obvious ass, my wife and I are just kind of standing there and we're looking at some towels. We're looking at some towels, big towels. And keep in mind, I walk with a cane. So this guy in all of his, Red Neckerson glory, in his John Deere hat and his plaid shirt, and I'm not exaggerating, this is exactly what this motherfucker had on, John Deere hat, plaid shirt, fucking, cowboy boots and flare bottom, boot cut jeans. And that's who this guy was. And that's exactly, and this motherfucker followed us around the store for 30 minutes. Every aisle I was on, he was on. Every aisle, and there was other people in the store. However, we were the only people of color in the store. Now, there was a bunch of young girls, girls with their moms, there were other men in there. But I was the only black man in there. My wife was the only Latin woman in the whole store. And this guy followed us around. I mean, around. To the point where my wife was like looking at him, and I said, nah, because when motherfuckers do shit to me, I do stupid shit, like turn into that shit. So it turned into this. Instead of him coming to where the fuck I was, me going to where the fuck he was. So if he was standing there someplace, I would stand right in front of this motherfucker and grab shit right next to him. And look at my wife through this motherfucker and say, hey, how about this? As to let him know, motherfucker, there ain't shit in TJ Maxx that's worth going to jail for. Nothing. Shit. Not a goddamn thing in this whole fucking store that my 54-year-old ass wants to pick up and put in my fucking pocket and walk out with. What kind of dumb shit is that? I'll tell you what kind of dumb shit is that. That's stereotyping. They stereotyped us. They profiled us. That dude walked in and said, these people steal. Because I'll tell you what, I'm not the kind of guy who gets all dressed up either. I don't get dressed up. I got a beard I haven't shaved in fucking 6 months. My hair is always fucking everywhere. A lot of times I don't take a shower. I walk out in public, I am funky as it gets. And you know what? I don't fucking care. I don't care. It's not a big deal to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to impress anybody. The only person I'm ever worried about impressing is my wife. That's it. Everybody else, I'm sorry, y'all. Them days is over. Me trying to fucking cater and impress people, that shit is done. So I don't do that shit. I walk in, I get the shit that I need. I'm a fucking upstanding citizen, and I turn my ass around, I pay for the shit I get, and I walk the fuck out. But even still, there's so many people who have been indoctrinated and browbeat into believing that just because somebody black or Hispanic walks into a store, that you immediately need to put a security guard on them and they need to be watched through the entire duration that they're in the store. That's ridiculous. And that's to make them feel comfortable. And that's also to show them, so they can show each other, hey, man, we gotta stay on these people, man, because if we give them 1 inch, man, we there might not be no more TJ Maxx. Meanwhile, white people steal just as much, if not more, than every other race. It's ridiculous. So why do people try as hard as they can to ruin life for black people? All right, now, this right here speaks to the repeated structural efforts to disempower and destabilize black life in America. A lot of these examples, are redlining and housing discrimination. Remember that? Which locked black families out of generational wealth. Still, to this fucking day, still going through that shit. Education inequities. Now we got Linda McMahon, the fucking smartest bitch in the world. This bitch is a fucking idiot. I can't fucking believe this, that the fucking, one of the founder of the WW motherfucking E is in charge of our fucking, educating our kids. But that's not what it's about. It's about disenfranchising our kids and educating their kids. Educational inequities, where schools in black neighborhoods are severely underfunded. Now, I saw this. I can't remember what town. I was trying to figure out what town it is. But I saw not too long ago. I saw a town where it was, regular town, but it was a high school, white high school, majority white high school. And they had a gym. But not only did they have a regular gym, these motherfuckers had a practice gym. The fuck you need a practice? Meanwhile, the black school on the other town, no gym. Motherfuckers outside playing. The motherfuckers outside, and it's just blatantly obvious It's obvious. But the minute that we say, all right, man, that's cool. Y'all got y'all shit. We're going to go over here and build our shit. Our shit is always met with violence, opposition. They try to legislate shit to prevent us from fucking advancing. All kinds of shit. It's just all kinds of passive aggressive hate. Another one is over policing and incarceration, where policies target black communities disproportionately. I mean, we can still see that. That shit is every fucking day. That shit is no fucking surprise. That shit is everywhere you look, every town you go to. And I tell you what, man, people, the hood, man, you stay out the hood. Sometimes, I want to tell motherfuckers, shut the fuck up, because the same people who live in these rich neighborhoods live in the hood, the regular hood. And they're just regular people. They're just regular people. They've just been legislated into their condition. And that's what people, they don't connect the dots. They don't put two and two together. They don't say, hey, why did you pass this fucking law to hurt black people? And then look over at the black neighborhood, oh, look, these people are actually hurting because of this law. They don't do that. They don't, and the reason they don't do it is because they don't care to do it. Now, to be fair, it is not always driven by, conscious hate. Often, a lot of times, this is sustained by systems designed to prioritize white comfort and power, even at the expense of black suffering. You feel me? Whether through neglect or active harm, a lot of the result is the fucking same. It's the same. It's not because they consciously hate us. It's just they want to be comfortable. They want to maintain the cushiness. They want to maintain the paradise that we built for them without giving us any credit or giving us a break or giving us a hand. It is the definition of take, take, take. They take, and they want more and more and more. They want to call us, the funny shit is this, they want to call us niggas and shit like that, but then they want to turn around and want us to fucking work for them and do shit for them and fucking watch their kids and iron their fucking clothes and all kind of shit like that. That still goes on. Still going on. We still have black people that are going and working for white families, raising white children, when they're neglecting their own children at home. And the reason why is because we don't make any fucking money, because they keep it all. They pay us like shit, and they pay them like Jesus. It's crazy. So, I don't know how to. Well, I guess I kind of know. I mean, and it would take white people. It would take a lot of white people is really how you fix this. This is going to take, because we're not going to, for one, we can't fix it because they won't let us fix it. For two, I don't think we care to fix it anymore. We don't give a fuck anymore. And that's the problem, because they honestly did think that all this shit that they were doing was going to drag us into the streets, and then all these fucking Proud Boys and Patriot Fronts get to stand up with Mr. Trump and do all of it. We don't fucking care. We don't fucking care. Tear this raggedy motherfucker down is the general sentiment. We don't give a fuck. Now, of course, you got a few reneglicans out here and some conservatives that are, gun-ho and, get up on you, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Got some of them out there. But, there's more of us out there. There's more of us saying, hey, man, this is tired. This is getting real tired. And it's going to have to start getting to the point where it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to us. You can try and you can pass all of the shit that you want to. You can try to pass everything that you want. But the bottom line still is we do not care anymore. It used to be like, well, what can we get done for us? Well, we're going to march and, these are our, we just have, fuck that. Fuck simple demands. Fuck simple, this is what we need for our community. We're just going to go get it. And that's what's been happening. And because of that, people been getting mad. Been getting mad. Think about it. The Fearless Fund. Remember that? Remember that? The Fearless Fund. It was to help black women start business. It was a fund to help black. They canceled that. Why? Because they want to cripple black progress. That's all it is. They're why get rid of it? Why get rid? Oh, it's illegal. No, it's not illegal. It's not illegal. But that's what they label everything that surrounds us or features us. Oh, the illegal practices of DEI. It's not illegal. It's not illegal. It's necessary. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are necessary. I fucking said it. And anybody who wants to sit the fuck up and sit with me and say, no, the fuck it's not. Yo, I got another microphone and I got a whole fucking platform that we can sit here and get into that. And I'll give you 1,000 reasons why it's fucking necessary. And the main reason is so that you motherfuckers leave us alone. Now, again, this is not all white people. Just the ones who align with that bullshit. Okay? So if that's you, like this fucking chick on social media, yo, if there's a race war between white and black people, black people, you guys would lose because you don't hold a gun like that dumb bitch. That stupid bitch. Who is that? I mean, she's a stupid ass. She's stupid. And the reason why, and see, that's the issue. These motherfuckers sit in their world and they make up stories about what the fuck we do in our fucking world. So what the fuck is it? Do you not care about us? Or do you overly obsess about us? You got whole militias, motherfucking militia out here trying to get ready to fight. And who the fuck do you think they're going to fight? People of color. The people of color. You know how I know that? Look at their ranks. Not a single person of color, nowhere. Look at the fucking flags they carry. All fucking white supremacist bullshit. Look at the masks they're wearing on their fucking faces. 100% cowards who fucking run your community. These motherfuckers are cops, doctors, pharmacists, teachers, etc. But these motherfuckers are out in the woods on the fucking weekends training to go to combat with black folks. That's ultimately what it is. Oh, no, it's not. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Because that's, why else? Why else would it be? Oh, to protect our sovereign nation. Shut the fuck up. It's not for your fucking sovereign nation. It's so that you can stand up in your fucking racism. And that's exactly what it is. So you can stand up in our fucking racism. These motherfuckers will praise the shit out of anybody who exploits black culture. But if Beyonce makes a fucking country record, this bitch is fucking out of her fucking mind. This isn't fucking country music. This bitch needs to, they try to take over every goddamn thing. No, turn that around. Flip that shit around. We come up with things. And what do y'all do? You steal our culture. Cultural appropriation is a form of extraction without respect or reciprocation. Black creativity, from music and fashion to language and social trends, we make the global culture. We drive that shit. We are driving the bus. Black folks, and right after like Latin folks, you know what I'm saying, and Asian folks. You know who doesn't shape global culture? White people. They just don't. They just don't, because they're too busy appropriating culture to create it. You feel me? When white individuals or corporations adopt these elements without acknowledging their origin or the struggle behind them, what is it? What do you call that? What is that called? It's called theft. It's called theft of value. Now, why does this happen? Well, because black people are the shit. Black people and black culture is innovative, expressive, and it's extremely powerful. We are powerful people, period. And that's, look how, we're fragmented. We are fragmented people here in this country. But look how powerful we still are in our fragmented state. Could you imagine if we were unified? Could you imagine? These motherfuckers wouldn't know what to do. It'd be like, oh, shit. if we were unified. And yo, for real, I seen, last week another one. What if 100 Mexicans and 100 blacks? Yo, and the dude came on and said, what if 100 Mexicans and 100 blacks got together and opened businesses? Facts. That right there is what I need. That's what we need. That right there, what that essay said right there was everything, man. What he brought to the table was fuck what they're trying to get us to do to each other. Because make no mistake about it, there is propaganda that is being pushed out over social media every fucking day to turn us against each other. And guess who's behind it? I don't even have to fucking say it. Because you already know. Because it ain't us and it ain't them. And the thing about it is, the reason why they want that split is because what that does is that helps their cause to disenfranchise both of us. If you have both of us fighting each other, then they don't have to put forth that much effort now, do they? And in that, y'all, I say this. I say all the black folks, all the Hispanic folks, everybody. And I will even say this. White folks who are tired of that bullshit, come get down. Let's get down. Let's do some new shit. Let's show these motherfuckers that this right here can't persist. That this will not win. That it can't win. Now, why does this happen? Why do they steal our code? Why does it happen? Number two is because whiteness often has privilege of profiting from black expression without facing the same social penalties. That's why they do it, because it's dope. This shit is dope, but they don't have to go through the struggle in order to fabricate it. And that's exactly what it is, though. It's a fabrication. Okay? It's not original. It's a fabrication. It's like buying a Gucci bag from Canal Street. It's not original. It's not the real thing. And lastly is black because in America, black culture is loved, but black people are often mistreated, and that's the truth. And people, oh no, it's not that. Yes, it is. And to people who say that, to non-people of color, let me put it like that, white folks, and even my friends, this still goes on, whether you want to believe it or not. Whether you like to internalize it or not, it still goes on. Because I know a lot of people, their first inclination is to wiggle from underneath it. Oh, no, I don't want to be involved. But that's the way that it continues. That's the way that it persists. That's the way that we still have this shit because people don't want to address it. People don't want to confront it. People don't want to fucking talk about it. People don't want to hold themselves accountable. That's a lot of it. That's why we can't talk about it. That's why it gets heated. People get frustrated. It's because people cannot and will not hold themselves accountable. It's that simple. So, me personally, I think these questions aren't about white people as individuals. They're about systems. They're about historical patterns. It's about ongoing behavior. And it's okay to feel angry. It really is. But it's also empowering to understand that what looks like contradiction, hate versus obsession, let's say, actually reflects a really, really fucked up, twisted relationship between oppression and fascination and denial and dependence. That's really what the fuck it is. What I'm going to go through now is a little bit of a dive into the systemic oppression. And we're going to start with number one. Now, some of these things, bear with me. I have to read through some of them. This is the material I came up with, but you got to bear with me. I need some new glasses. Number one is economic disenfranchisement, historical context. Now, we all know that slaves built America, and slaves built America's wealth while leaving black folks with nothing. After, we all know that after the Emancipation Proclamation, we was promised 40 acres and a mule, and that shit was taken back and nobody got shit. And black labor to this day continues to be exploited for real. Prison labor, underpaid jobs, a lot of shit. Lots of shit is still making it so that we can't come up. They don't have to pay us as much as we should be paid for doing the work. And they damn sure won't pay us the same wage that they pay somebody of their own race. Now, we have some examples, some modern examples, sort of modern, like redlining from the 1930s through the 1970s. The homeowners loan corporation created maps marking black neighborhoods as high risk, denying them mortgages. This stunted black home ownership and generational wealth. Wage gaps. Black workers still earn less on an average than white workers with the same education level. Black Wall Street, 1921, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We all know about that. A thriving black business community district was destroyed in a white mob attack. Up to 300 people were killed, and no one was ever held accountable. And see, this is the thing. A lot of people want us to stop talking about that. People want us to stop saying shit like that. Stop talking about it. Why you got to bring that up? Because it fucking happened. For the same reason motherfuckers bring up the fucking Holocaust. For the same reason motherfuckers bring up the motherfucking Alamo. For the same fucking reasons. It happened. But it happened to us, and that's why people wanted to shut the fuck up. And the reason why is because we have never been quiet about it. Man, why you gotta keep saying it, man? Why you gotta... Because they're having a great time out here. You ever been to a party that you gotta take somebody you didn't really want to take, but you gotta take this person? That's what it is. They go to this party, this American party. Yeah, we're the fucking we're the life of the party, man. And this is us. This is all of our. Yes, this is our nice stuff over here, and this is some other nice stuff that we have over here. But we're the ones that they brought to the fucking party that they don't want to acknowledge that they brought to the party. We're the ones that they brought to this fucking party, but they wish they didn't. Because realistically, nobody wants that culture. They want our culture. They want our culture. And that's why it's so hurtful to them that they don't and can never have it. It's like being black. I don't have to go to a tanning bed. I don't have to sit out in the sun. I don't have to do any of that. But every summer, every beach across this motherfucking country is filled with white people trying to get darker skin. Trying to have a tan. Okay, that's cool. But that's what it is. You don't have the melanin. You don't have the pigmentation. And that's another thing. I mean, even this lady from, I forgot where she was in Germany, this bitch is undergoing surgery to turn herself into a black lady. Your DNA still says you're a white woman. It's that simple. I'm sorry. It's like the lady from the head of the NAACP, the white lady who was running the NAACP, because she had a little bit of curly hair. And she was lying to people telling them that she was black. She wasn't. She was a white lady. It's our culture. It's our culture that people want. They don't want our struggle. They don't want our oppression. They don't want what has been done to us. They don't want to have to go through what we went through in order to have the things that we have or obtain the culture that we have. Now, there are some people that are involved in this. There are some people who make this shit fucking a reality for everybody. Now, the people in the institutions involved, the U.S. Federal Housing Agency, FHA, and HOLC. Another one, major banks, Wells Fargo fined for discriminatory lending in the 2000s. Local police who failed to stop or participated in attacks like in Tulsa. This shit happens, y'all. It's still happening. And nobody wants to say that it's happening. But it's happening. They always want to tell us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. But they stole the motherfucking boots. And then they burned the fucking store down. So how are we supposed to do that? And not for nothing, I think that right there should be turned around. I think that whole phrase should be turned around. I think they are the ones that need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and stop jumping from culture to culture, because that's exactly what they're doing. They jump from culture to culture. They steal this and they steal that. And in that, they piece together their lives out of the cultures of everyone else's that they steal and exploit. It's just the truth. It's just the facts. And people get mad about that. People are mad, but it's the truth. And I say this a lot. I always say this. Sometimes the truth hurts the worst. But if you stand up to it and you confront it, then it goes away. But the thing about it is they don't. They get mad. They double down on their anger. They double down on their anger. And I don't understand. The way to get rid of this, black people can't get rid of this, okay? And one of the reasons that we will never be able to get is because white folks don't listen to us. Simple as that. They discredit everything we say. It's never what it is. That we've always got to have our work checked. I got a friend that everything I tell this dude, he's always got to back. Oh, well, I don't believe that. Even though a lot of the shit that I say is true. Oh, I don't believe that. Did you do any research? No. Then shut the fuck up. Then shut up. You don't fucking know. I at least took the time to do the research. But I'm always questioned. I always have to be questioned. You know what I'm saying? And it's just something that people don't know that's been indoctrinated into them. If somebody black says something, how credible is it? And that's the fucking truth. And people don't want to admit that. They don't want to admit that that's where it comes from. Some people don't know genuinely, but that's where it comes from. So there's a bunch of other stuff, man. There's a bunch of other things. So what I really want to get to, though, is this. Why? I mean, because I could go through a whole bunch of shit, man. I got a bunch of material prepared. I got contemporary examples of cultural appropriation and obsession, like the fashion industry. Marc Jacobs. Oh, yeah, listen to this. In 2017 runway show, the designer Marc Jacobs featured a predominantly white models wearing wool dreadlocks, a hairstyle deeply rooted in black culture. The show faced backlash for cultural appropriation, highlighting the ongoing issue of white designers adopting black aesthetics without proper acknowledgement. Same thing happened in 2016 with the Valentino collection. Valentino's Wild Africa collection showcased tribal motifs and cornrow hairstyles on mostly white models, sparking criticism for the lack of black representation and the commodification of African cultural elements. That shit is happening. That's cool. And then they go and make millions of fucking dollars on it without even saying where the fuck they got the idea from. That's cultural appropriation. That's cultural theft. That's not their culture. And that's what I'm talking about. If you hate us, then leave us alone. If you don't want anything to do with us, if you're disgusted by us, if you can't wait till we leave, then leave us alone. Social media music. TikTok's whitewashing of black music. Black-originated music genres like Jersey Club and slowed plus reverb have gained popularity on TikTok. However, white influencers often capitalize on these styles without crediting their black creators, leading to the erasure of the music's cultural roots. They're trying to adopt this music, just like everything else. This is ours. It's ours. No, it's ours. No, they weren't using it. No, that's just those black kids. They came up with it, but we perfected it. It's ours. It's not. You stole it. And that's what it is. And I'm going to call it out every time I see it. And if you can't take it, find another fucking podcast. Simple as that. And this goes to anybody. My friends also. If you can't take me calling out hypocrisy, bounce. Simple as that. If you can't stand behind me while I call out hypocrisy, bounce. I don't need you. We don't need to be friends. You know what I'm saying? If you can't stand with me, if you can't see where the fuck I'm coming from without getting offended, bounce. I don't want to hold you. I don't want to clutter your mind with shit that you don't want to fucking think about. I don't want to do that. I need people who care about the things that I go through, who care about my fears in this country. I need friends like that. I don't need friends who dismiss my experiences. I don't need friends who try and undermine the things that I've been through or downplay or make it seem like I'm exaggerating circumstances when these things happen to me plain as day. Because they don't happen to you, doesn't mean that they don't happen to me. And how you deal with shit like that is 100% different on how I deal with shit like that. Because at the end of the day, I'm 100% tired of motherfuckers doing this shit. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the fucking appropriation. I'm tired of people saying they're down for your fucking cause, but then turn around and telling you, oh, hold on, wait a minute, I don't know if I necessarily believe that. Fuck that. Fuck that. In 2019, Sephora and Moschino's collaboration, the brands released a makeup line resembling the Crayon Case, a black-owned beauty brand founded by Raynell Supercent Stewart. The collaboration faced accusations from copying and profiting from black creativity without proper recognition. They do it all the time. They don't come up with shit, and they think that they call us, inferior. Our brain capacity is inferior. That is they have spent billions and billions of dollars to make motherfuckers believe that they are superior to other people. That one race of person is inherently superior to every other race. They have spent billions of dollars making people believe that. Just try and make people believe that shit. I hate to say it, and I don't, man. I don't hate white folks, but I hate a lot of this shit that y'all do, man. I just do. I'm sorry. I hate a lot of the shit that y'all come up with. Y'all think because you don't think about other people. You want to get what you want. That's fine, but you want to get it and step on as many people. It don't matter. It doesn't matter how many people you step on to get what you want. It doesn't matter. As long as you get the outcome. This guy just pardoned some people that should for evading taxes and all kind of fucking fraud and shit like that. He just released these motherfuckers out of prison. Okay. Even though you're fucking guilty as it gets, we're just going to let you out. We're going to let you out because you shouldn't be in there with them. You should be out here with us, helping us populate our country, because that's ultimately what it is. That's what all these mass deportations are about. Now they're getting ready to try and revoke all the visas for Chinese students. All kinds of shit, man. It's all kinds of shit. Whiteness here in this country has just become something that is synonymous with danger, disenfranchisement. Whiteness has just become synonymous with hatred. And white folks, what y'all gonna do about that? Because there's some white folks out there making y'all look really bad. This is to all the good white folks. What y'all gonna do about that? Because you have a lot of white people out there that are making y'all look bad. You know what I'm saying? It's whether or not you choose to do anything about it. Now, people are like, oh, well, you didn't show up for the marches. Black people not showing up for the marches. You damn right we're not showing up for the marches. You should show up. No. We've shown up for the marches. But the problem is this. They'll go out and protest. They will go out and protest, and it'll be peaceful, no cops nowhere. But the one thing they're not protesting? For our issues. They're protesting for the things that affect their lives directly. But they're not protesting for our issues. It's going to require us for that. Because they don't know. A lot of them, for lack of a better phrase, are oblivious to what we go through because they don't care. They don't identify. It's not that they hate us. It's not that they love us. They just have no dealing with us, so it doesn't affect them either way. A little black child not having lunch at school isn't going to affect this white family over here, whose dad makes, $300,000, $200,000 a year. That's not gonna cross his mind. But it should. It should cross everyone's mind. But it doesn't. Because of, the propaganda. So let's understand the obsession. Understanding the obsession. The repeated patterns of cultural appropriation and exploitation suggest a deeper societal issue. While black culture is celebrated and monetized, black individuals often face systemic discrimination and marginalization. This paradox highlights an obsession with black culture that exists alongside a reluctance to address the injustices faced by the black community. They want our stuff, but they don't want our struggle. That's ultimately what that is. And they are obsessed with the shit we do. And one of the reasons they're obsessed is so that they have something to talk about. That's one of the reasons. I don't want to fucking fight. So they have something to talk about. Hey, have something to actively hate to make themselves feel better about themselves and their situation. That's really what it is. When somebody calls you a nigga, right? Because I get called that a lot, still, to this day. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. When somebody calls you a nigga, right? That is a direct attempt at them trying to, A, hurt you, B, provoke you, C, put you in a place that they think that you should be in. And every time we laugh in their face or, bitch, is that the best you got? That tears down a little bit more of their fortress, that fortress of hatred. The minute that motherfucker's gonna be like, nigga, 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 and we'd be like, bitch, get the fuck out of my face with that shit. As opposed to reacting to it. Now, should we react to it? Yeah, a lot. But the way we react to it, the way I've reacted to it, started reacting to that shit, changes. Really? I try and help motherfuckers. If you want to insult me, I'm a comedian, okay? If you want to insult me, you have to get creative. You need some creativity, okay? So if you want to insult me, stop with the just the one word nigger, because that's not insulting anymore. I don't give a fuck about that. You know what I mean? Say some shit like your crotch smells like kerosene and your booty hole smells like sulfuric acid. I don't know, some different shit. That's worse. I mean, that's a little than nigger, because that just shows your desperation. When a motherfucker lashes out, nigger, that's desperation. That's desperation. That's them wanting you to feel so bad, so terrible, while they feel superior because you're a nigger. This shit is hilarious. When you start thinking about it, the shit gets to be absolutely hilarious. I mean, I just don't. Excuse me. I just don't get it. A lot of it is cognitive dissonance, psychological defense mechanisms. Many white people are raised in the belief and the narrative of fairness, equity, and individual merit. When confronted with evidence that their culture exploits, appropriates, envies, surveils, or controls black culture and people, it creates a psychological conflict, a kind of mental discomfort known as cognitive dissonance. To resolve this discomfort, many resort to denial, gaslighting, or revisionist history. Example, when white influencers are called out for blackfishing or appropriating AAVE, African American Vernacular English, the common response is, it's just fashion, or it's like the style. This avoids confronting the racial power dynamics that make such appropriation profitable or safe for them, but not for black people. Feel me? Cultural narcissism and envy. There is a real contradiction in how black culture is consumed in America. Black creativity is desired. Black existence is policed. This form of cultural narcissism, a dominant group claims superiority, yet secretly envies the vibrancy, resilience, and originality of the people they oppress. That envy gets disguised as surveillance, control, or mockery. Example, hip-hop was once called garbage and violent and divisive and dangerous by mainstream white America. Today, it is a multi-billion-dollar industry, often led by white-owned record labels, advertising firms, and festivals, even while black artists still face systemic discrimination. They just came and took shit. So, there's a lot of guilt that they don't want to. There's guilt. It's white guilt is really what it is. White denial is also a shield against accountability. Now, if white people admit they're obsessed, they must also admit that America was built on theft of black labor and culture. They got to admit that much of American culture is black culture repackaged. And they have to admit that white history is full of lies and myths designed to cover up their brutality. And admitting this would destabilize their myths of entitlement and exceptionalism. And many white people were raised to believe in this. They just were. Now, this hurts. It really does. Now, why does this hurt? It's because this is denial. And it's isn't just annoying, it is dangerous, because the lie, it actually distorts reality, making it harder for people to recognize systemic injustice. They gaslight black people, making them question their own experiences. They block accountability, preventing real justice and healing. And they do that better than anybody. And it's just not healthy, man. It's just not healthy for us. It's not healthy for them. And I think that once we start realizing and they start understanding that we don't care. Say what the fuck you want. We don't care. You can say whatever the fuck you want. We don't care. We're going to continue to thrive, to shine, and to put our best foot forward, and to show everybody in the world exactly what black excellence is. Because people don't want to. Now, my last question is this. Why do white people get upset at black joy? Why do they get mad when we celebrate anything, especially blackness? Well, that's because black joy, like it or not, is power. And power terrifies people who are committed to control. That's that simple. So let's get into it. When white people get upset at black joy or celebrations of blackness, it often reveals four deep intersecting forces. One, because black joy disrupts their lie. White supremacy depends on a constant narrative. Black people are broken, angry, violent, inferior, and are in need of saving. That's what white superiority tries to teach you. We don't need saving. We're not broken. And if we are, it's because you broke us. We weren't angry. We're actually a very loving people. But we get angry at the shit that y'all do. We're not violent people. It's the situations that you have legislated us into that have turned us that way. And it's your propaganda that has put us there. So when black people dance, when we laugh, if we succeed at anything, if we are thriving and flourishing, if we celebrating each other, if we putting each other, like them girls did at the graduation, if we take pride in our identities, man, anything, if we love on ourselves, it shatters that narrative. It exposes the system as fraudulent. Black joy becomes rebellion in a society that expects your pain and not your pride. Now, number two, they don't like black joy because black joy is tied. It's what they tried to take. They tried to steal it through slavery, through segregation, through mass incarceration, police violence, through redlining, media erasure. The list goes on, and like constant policing in this country. They have literally spent centuries and quadrillions of dollars to try and break black people's spirit, to try and break our spirit. And they can't. They can't. And you know what happens? You know what happens when they try? Doesn't matter what the fuck they do. You know what happens when they do it? We celebrate anyway. We celebrate anyway. With no money. I don't give a damn what it is. We celebrate anyway. And you know what that shows? It shows clearly and without a doubt, it shows that they have failed. They have failed. They cannot break our will. And they try Look at all the shit they pass in the laws. Look at all of this shit they're trying to do. Look at all of this shit. If you don't care about us, if you don't like us, why are you passing so much shit to try to fuck us? Huh? Why? Because you're lying. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to everybody else. And number 3, because it's the joy in us, it's our joy that they cannot control. When white folks enjoy black culture, it is often through controlled, commodified channels. Music they can stream, slang they can use, TikTok dances they can mimic, fashion they can imitate. But black joy, our joy, well, that exists without their permission. We don't need their permission. It exists without having to cater to them. It exists without us having to center them. And that right there, that threatens their illusion of ownership. That's when they say things like, well, why does it always have to be about race? Why can't we all just celebrate together? Why is there a BET and no WET? That's what they say. And you know what that translates into, right? Why can't I be the center of your joy? That's what it is, y'all. Number 4, because envy turns into resentment. Let's be real, okay? Black joy is magnetic. If we start dancing around, everybody else wants, hey, what they doing? They ain't damn right. It's because we have soul. It is soulful. It's stylish. It's rhythmic. It's confident. And it definitely looks like something that they cannot replicate. Even when they try as hard as they can't replicate it. So when they see black people being unapologetically beautiful or loud or proud or confident and community-centered while still surviving in a system that hates them, man, it just stirs up all kind of jealousy and insecurity and guilt and rage and all of that stuff combined. And instead of dealing with that, what do? They attack black joy. They shame it. They try to police it. They call it divisive. All kinds of shit. It's crazy. The bottom line is this. White people get mad at black joy because it's the only thing they can't fully steal, sell, or sanitize. That's it. It's the one thing that proves that we are not what they say we were. And we never were. And for a system built on our, supposed inferiority, that truth is both uncomfortable and, goddamn it, it's unforgivable as well. That's going to do it for this week's episode of the Deron Harris Podcast, y'all. It really is. Think about what I said, man. And white folks, I want you guys to think about it. I really do. I really want white people to think about this because, it stops with y'all. It started with y'all, and it stops with you guys as well. So I know that there are some white folks that are super tired of the things that are being said, the things that are going on. And right now is when we need you guys more than ever to step up to the plate and say, hey, listen, enough is enough. And it's only going to work that way. All right? So, listen, y'all, I want to thank my parents for giving me the mouthpiece that I have. I want to thank my wife for being my number one supporter. I want to thank my best friend, Jesse Yandel, for being a lights-out producer every single week of my show. I want to thank Gentry Thomas for giving me the platform that I'm on. And I want to thank, last but not least, I want to thank everybody out there listening to my voice. I couldn't have done this without you, and I do appreciate people sitting here listening. And I know some of the things are hard to listen to, but trust me, man, I promise you that the only thing I'm trying to do is get rid of all of this angst and anxiety. But in order to do that, I have to confront a lot of things that are uncomfortable. So if you guys stick with me, I promise, we can all get through this. And before I leave, I want to shout out and say, I want to shout out Harvest Host. Harvest Host, man. They, I live full-time in the RV with my wife, and And Harvest Host they make it incredibly easy to stay at. I mean, they have campgrounds also, but you can stay at wineries, you can stay at farms, you can stay at like breweries, all kinds of stuff, and it's super reasonably priced. There's Harvest Hosts in every single state in the union. So, if you're traveling across the country, you need a quick, fast way to lay down, or something, you want a unique experience, log on to Harvest Host and see what they have. I mean, I guarantee you will not be disappointed. There's a couple that we actually have picked out because, now that it's getting to be summertime around here, my wife and I are getting ready to crank up the RV and start making our way about the country, and we have already picked out a list of Harvest Hosts that we want to hit up along the way. So make sure that you guys check it out, man. Harvest Hosts. It's absolutely amazing. And like I said, they have great venues and super reasonably priced. So, all right, y'all. That's going to do it for this week, man. This episode of the Deron Harris Podcast. And again, I do thank everybody for checking in with me on a weekly basis. If you're here doing that, I know sometimes it's hard to listen to, but I know the only thing I want to do is get better. So, again, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you guys next week. All right? Peace.
You've been listening to the Deron Harris Podcast. Subscribe to the show, give a good rating, and everything you need to know is at DeronHarris.com.